All right, let's turn this photo into this photo. This right here is exactly what we're looking for. This is bear poo, and that means there's a bear around. So what we're doing today is we are out on some back roads here on the North Island, on some old logging roads, and what we're doing is trying to find some black bears, hopefully some black bear mamas with some cubs to photograph and video. We are being safe, we're being careful, we're being ethical, but we're trying to find bears to photograph because that's the goal today. Sometimes logs get in the way. That's why I always gotta carry a chainsaw. Oh look, more bear poo. We're still on the hunt. All right, we got our first bear sighting in the forest. Came around this corner on a logging road and I saw a cub kind of hanging up on this ledge here. As soon as it saw the truck, it kind of bolted into the forest a little bit. Lost sight of the cub, but the mom was kind of hiding in between these trees here. So got a couple shots of this mama watching me carefully from the forest. What's cool about these bears is usually if you are pretty chill, they'll be pretty chill. As long as you're keeping your distance, you'll be fine. So remember, observe from a distance and have a long lens and just be careful and cautious every time you're around wildlife. Don't be that person that tries to like pet the bear or the elk or the deer or any type of wildlife. All right, it is the next day. We are back in the studio and we're going to edit the photos that we got from our trip yesterday out on the back logging roads. We were able to encounter 3 bears, one on the side of the highway, which we got a mediocre shot of because a truck came speeding by and scared the bear away. But we also got a great shot of a mama and a cub in the forest. And at first, I was not too happy about this photo because it was pretty flat, not very dynamic. But I thought, you know what? Let's try to make this photo better in Lightroom. So let's jump into Lightroom and see how we can rescue and save this photo. So what we're going to do now is use masks in Lightroom to make this image pop out a bit more and stand out and maybe give it something that wasn't there to start with. So why don't we dive right in, and we're going to start with this image by, first of all, cropping it in. So I'm going to do this as a vertical image. So first thing I'm going to do is straighten out the image, and then we are going to do a vertical crop on this. Okay, there we go. Just in like that. We'll make it a 5:7. And I think we'll kind of start here. I think that looks pretty good. All right, so right away, what I'm going to do is hit Command U. And what that's going to do is Lightroom's going to do its automatic thing in brightening up the image, making it where it should be and, you know, technically where it should be, but it's a good starting off point. So right away, the exposure's gone up, it's fixed some highlights and some shadows and those kinds of things. So this is a great starting off point. So again, we want the bear here to be our central focus. So the head here is what we're going to focus on to make it pop. Just over here, we're going to select our mask. We're going to do a subject, and it's done a pretty good job of selecting our bear. We're going to invert this. And we're going to bring down the exposure here. We want to darken off that background like that. It's done a pretty good job of darkening off that background. And next we are going to add another one. So we're going to create a new mask here. And we're going to do a linear gradient from the bottom. So we're going to do it from the bottom up here. We're going to darken up that. But once again, we are going to hit subtract. And we're going to select subject, so it's not going to affect the bear. You can see it just deselected some of the bear there, and we're going to drop the exposure here a little bit too. And we're going to do that on the left and right side as well. So create new mask, linear gradient, We're going to darken up this side here. Subtract. Subject. Once again, you see the bear getting removed there. Drop the exposure on this side. Okay, so now we're going to do the right side. So we're going to do a gradient here. Once again, we're going to subtract our subject. We're missing part of the ear here. So we're going to subtract a little brush here. I'm going to get rid of some of this here. Some of the shoulder here. And now we're going to drop the exposure on this side. So right away, let's have a quick look as we're doing this. This is our before and after. Already, we just see this head just popping out so much more. It's added some nice highlights in. Nice color here. Loving the way this is already looking. Okay, and now what we're going to do is, I have some filters, some presets here. So what I'm going to do is add one of my presets here. We're going to use this vibrant one. We're going to get rid of the grain. And now we're just going to make this, adjust the exposure of our image just a little bit here. Oops, we're still on the mask. Adjust this just a bit. I think that's looking pretty good. Let's play with the bear's eyes. So what we're going to do is add another mask, our brush, and we're going to go in on the eyes here. Just going to select the eyes. Like so. We're going to bring up the exposure just a tiny bit. The highlights we're going to pop up a bit, and the shadows we're going to drop up a bit. We want its eyes to really nicely pop here. You can overdo it really quick, so let's not do too much here. It's good. What I want to do now is, I'm pretty happy with where we're at right now with this image. So now I'm going to do a little more fine tuning. So let's bring up the texture a bit, add some more clarity to this. So you can see right away the eyes just starting to pop a little bit more. Let's add a little vibrance to make some of those greens pop. Oh yeah, that looks nice with those greens popping there. Look how this bear's looking right now. We look at the comparative, the back and forth. So we brought out the highlights here, the sun hitting the top of the bear's head here. We've made the eyes pop out a bit more. We made the greens pop out. We've darkened the background. Now we're just going to do a little bit more fine tuning. Let's add a little sharpening to this image, just so you can see the difference here up close. You can really overdo the sharpening, but we want to bring out that first. So sometimes, and this is going to be printed as well, so a little bit overdone is okay. And then finally, let's do a denoise on this. And there we go. So this is, you can see some of the noise here in the background, in the shadows. But now we've cleaned up that image. And I think what we're going to do is, I think we're going to crop this in just a little bit more. I think I like the idea of this kind of focusing more on the bear here. I like the greenery up here, but I want the bear to be the central focus. And this spot right here, this bit of log here, let's try getting rid of that as well. So we're going to use our eraser here. And so we have our AI turned on. Let's see what this happens if we try to get rid of this bit of log here, this stump that's hanging out. We're going to subtract and remove. Let's see what the AI does for us. Oh, nice. That looks great. It's added some more of the cedar back in here. Let's get off of this. So once again, let's look at our before and after. So this is what we started with here on the left. And now we are finishing up with this image right here. I mean, let's just do a little bit tweaking here. I just want to maybe just bring out these ears just a little bit. So one more mask. I'm going to use the brush. We're just going to go around the ears here. We have some highlights that we maybe want to bring out a little bit, just on the edges here of this bear. Make the brush a little bit bigger. Bring out some of that fur. This ear over here. Some of the edges there. Almost make it look like a rim light. Let's see if we can pop it out just a bit. So you can see the difference there. Just a little bit of highlight popping out. Let's do a little bit more over here. Make the bear stand out from the background a bit. A little fuzz on its ears. There we go. So once again, this was the before on the left here. And now we're left with this image here, which I think looks beautiful. I love the green popping out here. I love that the bear is framed within the cedar branches here. I love that we kind of got rid of the distracting bit of log here. So super quick, super easy edit. Just using masks essentially for our whole edit. We just use masks and exposure, and then we brought up some of the highlights. We dropped the background. We add some vibrance in it to make some of the green pop. So that's it, friends. That's the edit of this bear photo that I got just the other day. Again, we turned a flat image, which was kind of meh, to something I would happily print and put up in a store somewhere for someone to put up on their wall. So that is our edited process. I hope you learned a little bit about how I edit my photos. This is an extreme edit for me. I don't usually typically go this far in an edit, but I decided with this photo, it needed something. I was out there with the goal to photograph or film a bear, and the only shot I got was this bear hiding in the forest, and I didn't want to waste the shot, and so I decided to bring it into Lightroom and try something a little different, a heavier edit than I normally do, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. And that's the whole fun of doing this photo project in Lightroom, is that it's all about experimenting and finding how far you can push an image sometimes without it looking like it's overly processed, if that makes sense. So I hope you like it. I hope you learned something from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to
subscribe, and I'm gonna make some more videos. And if you don't subscribe, I'm gonna kill you. So I didn't mean to say I'm gonna kill you. I just meant I'm not gonna make any more videos.